If you cannot even set a boundary with yourself, what makes you think you can set a boundary with somebody else? One of the best things you can do for yourself in your 20s is to learn how to build your confidence. And I know that sounds a lot easier said than done, but there are definitely ways that you can improve on building your confidence. One of the best ways to do this is realize there is nobody in the universe that is exactly like you, and that within itself makes you the shit. The ultimate key to confidence is to really stop comparing yourself to others. I'm on my own journey, you're on your own journey, every single person in this universe is on their own journey, and it's not going to look the same. Of course we might be on the same path, of course we might be going to the same destination, but everyone's journey is unique on its own. As ironic as it might sound, the best way to build confidence is to take risks. It's to step outside of your comfort zone. It's to do things that you normally wouldn't do because it teaches you so much about yourself. It takes time to build confidence, and you'll one day realize that, hey, this thing I was so afraid to do, or this place I was so afraid to go, or whatever the case was, it's suddenly not scary anymore. And that's when you realize that whatever fear, whatever doubt, whatever feeling it is that you have that's limiting yourself, it's all up here. It's just you. So the better that we can get at dismantling that fear that we've built for ourselves, the more confident that we can get. Confidence really is the key to really attracting the things that you want in your life, because you have to believe that you deserve it. That's really what it comes down to. In your 20s, you want to become self-disciplined. And this is going to be very important because building good habits is really going to be the cornerstone of your 20s. Self-discipline allows you to set standards for yourself. Once you have standards for yourself, you're able to set standards with other people. And this really comes down to boundaries. If you cannot even set a boundary with yourself, what makes you think you can set a boundary with somebody else? This leads to my third point, which is to learn how to stand up for yourself, especially in your career, and especially if you're a minority. Once you realize what it is that you do and don't deserve, then you'll be able to communicate that with people. And I don't care what job it is, you shouldn't be disrespected in your job. And you shouldn't just be disrespected in general. And standing up for yourself doesn't mean being rude. What it really means is knowing what you will and won't accept. And once you learn how to stand up for yourself, you'll know how to stand up for yourself, not only in your job, but in your relationships, in your romantic relationships, whatever the case is. You'll be able to stand there with your head held high and kind of just be like, actually, this isn't for me, and I know when to step away. And that's a very good skill to learn in your 20s. Now, kind of everything that I've talked about thus far, like learning to stand up for yourself, being self-disciplined, and even having confidence, right? All of this is much easier to do once you understand your morals and values, which is my fourth point. Really take the time to understand what it is that you live by and what drives you, and understand what your why is. I think it's very important to also acknowledge that your morals and values change over time as we get older and as we get more educated and as life happens. But I think the key question to ask yourself is understanding why things have changed and what circumstances has made your morals and values change, whether that's for the better or for worse, and to always making sure that you're still staying true to yourself and and what you want and what you are trying to achieve in life. Once you understand your morals and values, it'll help you align your time and your energy with things and people and activities that you actually want to do that help you feel more fulfilled. This means you can find better connections with people to create a more meaningful relationship. It also means that you can invest your time into a company that also aligns with your morals and values. So then this way you're not just exchanging your time for a paycheck, but you actually feel like you're giving back and contributing to something that's bigger than you. And this just goes back into further building your confidence and knowing what it is that you want. Now, the last thing I'm going to share with you guys is to invest in yourself. Now, this kind of trickles down into a bunch of different categories, so let me go in and say what I mean by this. Invest in your travel, invest in learning about different cultures, and invest in doing this on your own. I do think that your 20s are the best time to travel, and maybe we can't go exactly where we want to go because we're still building our finances the way that we want to, but whatever journeys it is that you can take with the money you have, do it. If you have the means and the availability to live by yourself for some time, I also highly encourage you to do that. Investing in yourself also means educating yourself, so make sure you are always reading. And if you are in your 20s, the absolute number one book recommendation that I have for you is The Defining Decade. I encourage every single person I come into contact with in their 20s to read this book, because there's so many things that the author says that is just so reassuring, and it just makes sense, and it makes you feel like you're not alone in this crazy period of time that we're in. You want to invest in your mental and physical health. When it comes to your mental health, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you have the means to get a therapist, I highly encourage you to do so. And if you don't have the means to get a therapist, then I encourage you to find healthy ways to release whatever pent-up emotions that you have. In terms of investing in your physical health, number one takeaway that I want to give here is that it is important to be healthy. You shouldn't be focusing on a certain weight goal or fitting into a certain size. I do think that health looks different for every single person because every single body is different, and knowing and understanding what is healthy for you is what's going to help make this priority a little bit easier. Can't talk about investing if we're not talking about money. Learn how to manage your money. Learning how to manage and understand your finances in your 20s will really set the financial pillars for the rest of your life. There are books on this, and there are different books for different things, whether that's saving, investing, budgeting, whatever the case is. Find out whatever it is your financial goal is and go from there. I think people get scared in their 20s because it requires us to answer a lot of really big questions, and sometimes we don't want to address those questions, right? But ignoring those questions is not going to make adulthood any better. It's really about looking those questions in the eye and asking yourself what it is that you want out of life and cultivating and creating that life for yourself. I understand how crazy this stuff is because, hello, I'm going through it. It's not like I don't have the answers. But more importantly, what I do is I'm not afraid to ask the hard questions. I'm not afraid to ask myself the hard questions, and I'm not afraid to swallow the hard pills. And I've done that by kind of just following these 5 steps that I've told you. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week for another video.